So I'm Stanford's University librarian. I'm the director of what amounts to academic computing here, and I'm Stanford's publisher, both for University Press and for Highwire Press. So really since the first free browser, Mozilla, we became both aware of and increasingly involved with the production of digital information resources and the leasing and buying of digital information resources. And as our publisher clients in Highwire Press and our own output from the University Press are increasingly not only digital, but their most perfect version is the digital version. We've been completely concerned about how we provide for digital objects the sorts of long-term preservation and access that libraries have provided for physical books over these last centuries, millennia even. So the big concern for us in the last 7 or 8 years is how to design and operate what we're calling the Stanford Digital Repository. I think it was about 18 months ago, maybe a little longer, having heard about the development of Honeycomb from the Sun engineers and development group, we began to test early releases of the Honeycomb technology. We were very impressed. And eventually we've decided that we will be using Honeycomb technologies in that digital repository as the online module of the 3 modules, online, nearline, offline. We are now possessed of 2 of these big units. They're working exceptionally well. We've put them under stress tests. They're just terrific. They interoperate with the other technologies that we have in this digital repository. We're quite convinced that our issues with regard to operations and so forth will have nothing to do with the Sun technology, but everything to do with workflow, meta information, legal agreements, and then the access to copies of the mother files that are in the Honeycomb and the StorageTek tape robots that we've acquired from Sun. So we're looking to operate, we started operation already, but we're looking to have a couple of years of sort of early production of the whole system. And we're quite convinced that the Sun technology will give us a kind of reliable and consistent platform that will make those early years the ones in which we convince our community here, our faculty and our students and our staff, that we know what we're doing and that we can operate very successfully such a thing as a Stanford Digital Repository. What we've noticed about open source software and open systems is that we get more and better interaction among the players when we can make use of code that everyone can see. When we can look at these systems and understand how the code, the software interacts with the hardware technology. And it's become very important to us because we don't want to be dependent upon a single supplier. We don't want to become dependent upon a software vendor or a hardware vendor. We'd like to be able to see how the software interacts on a detailed basis with the hardware and vice versa. And we need to solve problems together with the software community that's taking care of the open source, or the manufacturer who's made his software open source, as in the case of Sun. So the sense of community empowerment by open source software and what amounts to open source design is really quite important to us. The most reliable set of components that we have for the general operations of the libraries, the digital library and so forth, academic computing, are Sun technologies. The big, I would say the most productive relationship for us, the one that's deepest, is the Sun relationship. And I have to believe that's partly because of the origins of the company, but I think even more importantly on the general directions and the general principles and policies on which the company has been operating. It's really substantial technology that they know everything about, and in the recent years when they've become much more involved in releasing their software technology as open source, we've even gotten farther along the track. It's been very, very supporting to what we're trying to do.